So cute! But also a massive distraction whenever I try to film with you in the same room. Hello strangers, I'm Ravenna and this is my reading wrap up for the past 2 months, which were August and September. I don't know if I ever did film a wrap up for August, but I don't know where that is. So we're just gonna do all the months together. So I forget how many books I read in August, but I read 7 in September, and I have talked about most of the books I read in August, so I'll probably just skim past those ones where I've talked about them in other wrap-ups, but not all of them. So I took part in a lot of readathons this past 2 months. Not so much in September, but August was just full of readathons. I took part in the Belts of Books readathon, and the Tomb Topple readathon, and the Reading Quest, which all contributed to me reading a lot more than I had been the past year. I have did wrap-ups for the Tomb Topple and Belts of Books, but because the Tomb Topple only includes certain books, there's books that I read during that time that I didn't talk about, and I'm going to talk about them now. So let's start with August. I started August by reading Stags by M.A. Bennett. I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. It's set in a boarding school-ish. Basically, there's like a cult thing going on, and it's the idea was interesting, but it's been done better by other people, and M.A. Bennett even acknowledges that it's been done by other people better. The thing is, M.A. Bennett incorporates a lot of things into this novel, and it's not really any of her own interests, and you can tell. There's film references, but they don't feel that deep, and she just does not understand the internet. There's a lot of YouTube bashing, but you can really tell M.A. Bennett has not been part of any YouTube communities to really comment on the benefit of YouTube. It's very, oh, YouTube's just cat videos, and you know that I know, everyone knows that's probably watching this video, that YouTube is a lot deeper than that. There's many communities based on YouTube. I mean, the big ones being booty, gaming, and well, booktube is definitely one. And even before that, I've been part of The Sims, Harry Potter. I've not been on YouTube where I haven't been part of a community, really. I've just like jumped from one to the other as time went on, or been part of several at the same time. So it's just weird to try and say there's nothing going on in YouTube at any time. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. There's also a review of that book about other thoughts on that. I also read the graphic novel Adulthood, a Myth by Sarah Andersen, and you know, that title's true. Yeah, Adulthood's Myth. You probably have seen Sarah Andersen's comics floating about the internet. I don't know if there was any exclusive ones to this book. I got it from the library to read, so you know, worth it for that. Definitely a few little book comics too in here that were interesting. So I definitely would recommend it. Like, she's really funny and I like her art style. I then listened to The Long Drop by Mina Dennis, or Dennis, you know, it's here. You figure it out. This is based on a true crime, and it's just you telling this true crime that happened. I think the best part of this book was listening to the guy with a Scottish accent. It was great. I enjoyed that. It's very nice and relaxing. He had a nice accent / voice. It's a bit confusing. You've told straight away what happened and what's going on, and I guess because it's based on your life, that is stuff. Oh, Layla. So, The Long Drop, it's very confusing, and I should do a review on it because it's a British author, but I don't know how to talk about this book because like I listened to the audiobook and it's kind of short audiobook, but I don't know, it was nice, I liked it. True crime, but fictionalized. It's quite an interesting thing that happened. It deals a lot with like Glasgow's kind of history and seediness, so you know, that interests you, go for it. I don't know, it's nice once in a while to read a book really set in a place that you know a lot about, or you know, lived around. Obviously I didn't live in the time period, but you know, I've been to Glasgow several times. But I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I meant to review The Long Drop, but I honestly don't know how I'm going to do it because it's a weird book, but I will plan to do it A book I did read and did not like at all was The 7 Imperfect Years of Eva Carr by Frances Mayrad. I have talked about this book extensively. I did a written review, I did a video review / rant on it. I give it 1 out of 5 stars. It's ableist and there's like triggering stuff in it that is not handled well. Very old fashioned is probably one of the main problems. You can tell someone much older than 27 wrote it, which is what the main character is meant to be, and it just comes across really bad, and I hated it as an autistic person reading about someone who's clearly coded as autistic, but not said, because we can never admit to being autistic or bisexual. Like, these are the things we must never say in media for some reason. I've said too much. There's links everywhere. It's all in the description. If there's a review, I will link it down in the description so you can go see it. Finally, part of Trims of Topples, I've read House of Leaves by Maxie Danzo. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Hyped up too much. Interesting book. Kind of boring in the execution, and it set off my dyslexia a lot, so I didn't really enjoy it. But there was parts I did enjoy it, and it's creepy as hell. Like I said, I talked about this in the Tomb Topple wrap-up, so that's somewhere in this corner, I think. Last time I did this, I pointed to the wrong corner. So, also part of Tomb Topple, I read Air of Fire. I don't think I finished it in Tomb Topple, but I did read it as part of Tomb Topple by Sarah J. Maas. I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. It was okay. This is the 3rd book in the Phone of Glass series, and I liked it better than the last book because the character I really didn't like, I could ignore, but also he was there. Some of the stuff that happened in here were like, well, this is clearly just for plot reasons that this is happening. Like, no other reason. So some of it was really obvious, like, but whatever. There's a written review of this book, so I'll link that down below. So you can check that out if you want. So went to the reading quest. I'm just gonna like put my final reading quest board here so you can see all I managed to read, and then I'll just like talk about some of those books in a little bit more detail. These next 2 books also were talked about my Bouts of Books reading wrap up, so I won't talk about massive detail, and I talk about them a lot in the vlog I did for Bouts of Books, which is 50 minutes long, so I understand if you don't want to watch that, but there's a nice little wrap up of Bouts of Books that you could watch. I read Monsters by Emma Ferrell. This was a book I requested off NetGuy ages ago and only finally got to reading once I saw it in the library. I'm glad I read it. It was an interesting book. There were certain parts of it I didn't like, but overall it was a book about murder in a seaside tourist town with like characters that are clearly going to go up to be serial killers, so what's not to like? Moving on. I listened to The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by Frank L. Baum. Or was it L. Frank Baum? That guy. You know, this is the first book in like Dorothy's Adventure of the World of Oz. This was okay. I liked it. It's Wizard of Oz, you know. There's a new Wizard of Oz series, cartoon series that's coming out, and it just looks real bad. Because I don't know why they're calling it the Wizard of Oz, the world, what's it, like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz or something, and I don't get, it doesn't look like the wizard's in it, so weird choice to name it that, because I think most people recognize Dorothy and the World of Oz would probably be a better name for it, but whatever. It's clearly not sticking to the canon of Frank L. Baum's Wizard of Oz or World of Oz, whatever the series is called. I still don't know, I never looked. I finished reading The Diabolic by S.J. Kindcard. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. It's a cool dystopia-ish books, you know. There's a review of this. Like I said, I talk about it in the wrap-up, so we're still Bouts of Books. I also read Chaos of Stars by Christian White, 3 out of 5 stars. This was literally just for a challenge. I read this book. Probably would never read it. I don't think I would have lost anything if I never read this book, but I don't hate the fact that I have read this book. It's just, I read this. It's kind of, some of the plot's kind of just like convenience, but it's a standalone thing about Egyptian gods with weird magic thoughts. I read I Have No Secrets by Penny Johnson. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I read this book as part of my silent protagonist series thing I'm doing. So there's a video review of this book and there's a written review of this book, so go check that out. And I talked about it in the Belts of Books wrap up, because that was the last book that I finished reading during that time. Being honest, to books that I actually finished in September and was still in the reading press, just so you know. So I then finished reading The 13 Chairs by Dave Skelton. This is 13 sort of short stories by David Skelton, so it's like an anthology but with a narrating device thing. It was okay. I would say this is solid juvenile horror. Some people really don't like it, but I don't know what they're rating it on Goodreads. It seems a bit weird, some of the comments. I will admit, I think this book does not start with its strongest stories. In fact, it starts with 2 stories that are basically the same kind of theme-wise, so I don't think that was a good choice. Maybe if some of the stories should have been moved about a little bit more, would have made been better to like draw people in. My favourite story was Unputdownable. There should be a review of this book. There will be a review of this book. I then read Charlotte Says by Alex Bell. This is the prequel to Frozen Charlotte, which, once looking at my review of Frozen Charlotte, I actually said I thought a prequel would be a really good idea. So, I got what I wanted. I have did reviews on these books because this is another book in the Red Eye series that I'm making my way through. Like I say, I want to finish all the Red Eye books this month. So I've caught up by the time the next one comes out, which is probably going to be next year, I imagine. After 10 years of trying, I finished It by Stephen King. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Do I suggest you read It by Stephen King? Not really. Watch the movies. I don't know, I haven't actually seen the new movie yet. I'm planning to, just life and stuff. I went to see the Limehouse Golem instead of it when I had the opportunity, and I really glad that I went to see the Limehouse Golem. It was really good. It makes me interested to pick up that book series. I would recommend that. Go see Limehouse Golem if it's still showing near you. It probably isn't, but it was good. I'm pretty sure It is still showing, so I can go see it. I then read Friends with Boys by Erin Hicks. Sorry if that's the wrong order. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It's a graphic novel and it's about this girl who's been homeschooled till high school, and then she goes to public high school and she doesn't know anyone, and fun. Also, there's a ghost. It's a good graphic novel. I would recommend it. It deals with deep stuff that I don't want to talk about. Continuing with graphic novels, I read the first 2 volumes in Gotham Academy because I love Batman and I also love the idea of stuff set around Gotham. There's actually a comic series that deals with Gotham PD, the police department, that I would like to read. I know it got decent reviews. I don't know, I should look into that. But this is like Gotham Academy, so Gotham Academy, not Gotham Academy. A lot of people have been to Gotham Academy, just like get sent there. Never run. I like this so far, the series. I think the next volume is out, but I got these from my library, so yeah. That looks nifty. Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne do show up in the series in general. Not big parts, it's more about these kooky bunch of characters. I know the art looks really nice in here. Would recommend. Yeah. Cutesy art style as well. These covers are so cool. I've got to say, it does remind me of the Umbrella Academy art style a little bit. I haven't even checked as far I know. They're linked and I don't care. Maybe it's just, it reminds me of Academy because it has Academy and she's holding an umbrella. That's why it reminds me of the Umbrella Academy. The last book I managed to finish in September was Submarine by Joe Dunthorne. The interesting things about this book is it's set in Wales, and I've not read a lot of books set in Wales. I think I have read another one, but definitely this is the first one this year. So, that's a thing. I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. My big problem with this book is I don't like the main character, like as a person. Like, he's just a shitty person. And I know he's like a teenage boy, and like most teenage boys are kind of shitty people. Most teenagers are kind of shitty people because we're forming into people and we haven't got proper life experience, and we all do stuff we get in our teen years. It's just a thing. If you're a teen, you will do stuff that you will regret, and you're just like, why did I do that? Because that is what the teenage years are. So Kenny can get a pass on that, but I just don't generally see him growing up to be a nice person. Yeah. It's like, he's really, really immature. And another big problem I think with this book is that the main kind of actual plot part is solved by the 200 page mark, and it just keeps going for some reason. Like, there's 90 pages of nonsense where nothing is solved. It's just weird. I mean, I guess technically something is solved, but it just doesn't feel like it's solved. I'm just, what's his name? Oliver. Like, I don't like Oliver. So, yeah. So that's all the books that I managed to finish reading in September and August. I'm currently reading a few different things that I hope to finish, but since this is so long, I won't talk about them. We'll save them for next month, which is sure to be spooky. And if this video is so long, I might do a TBR for this month, but this video is too long for me to do it in this video. So I will see you weirdos tomorrow, where the books will be reading me. Farewell. Good film. Yes, I see you. Bennett. I gave this book... What are you doing, Layla? Good name. Layla be cute, but a hassle. See, she's a you. She's a thing.